Hey, what is going on guys? I hope you're all having a fantastic day and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new around here, then welcome to the very first time. Today we're going to be looking at the FFAR, the new assault rifle that was released with season 4 of Black Ops 6. And if you guys are unaware, if you guys are new to Call of Duty, then this is a remake of the Famas from the original Black Ops series. Now usually within my videos I would play 5 tester games, I would give you guys a rundown on what I scored, whether that be my limb death ratio, my accuracy percentages, how I did on certain maps, and you guys will be able to see that all within the background. I'm going to run you guys through the class setup and then we'll jump into 1 or 2 games depending on how these games go, a little bit of live commentary, and hopefully you guys enjoy that a little bit more. But before we jump into the class setup, I'd just like to remind you all to leave a like on the video if you found it useful. If you guys are new around here and you want to see more content like this, then be sure to hit that subscribe button, and why not just turn on notifications to know exactly when I publish videos every single week. It's usually going to be around once or twice a week. I'm still trying to figure out a bit of a schedule, but as soon as I know that, I'll probably let you guys know in the videos. Now a brief look into the FFAR, and you can see it's a full auto assault rifle with a very high rate of fire and excellent close quarters combat power, but slower handling and mobility. The slower handling and mobility is there because it's an AR. You're supposed to be taking those medium to longer range gunfights, but the high rate of fire makes it very good at close range. It kind of acts like a hybrid between an SMG and an assault rifle. Now before we have a look at the attachments for the FFAR, we're going to have a quick run through the overall class setup. Starting off, we have the gun itself in the primary, then we have the pistol, knife, stim shot, frag, assault pack. Now the assault pack is just because I don't have scavenger on, so if I'm going on those longer streaks, I will need some ammo. You could probably swap this out for maybe a trophy system. If you're playing more objective based game modes, it's completely up to you. This entire top half of the class setup is completely your customization. Just make it fit to your playstyle basically. Now moving into the Wildcard, we're going to have the perk greed so we can have an extra perk. In slot 1 we're going to run ninja. This just allows you to move more quietly, so a lot of people these days have headsets, so if you're completely silent around the map, people won't be able to hear you, you'll be able to sneak up on people and hopefully pick up some easy-ish kills. Moving into our second perk, we're going to run with Hunter's Instinct. So killing an enemy marks the direction of the next closest enemy on your minimap. So every time you get a kill, I would highly recommend you check your minimap. It's going to give you some very valuable intel. Moving into perk 3, we've got Slipstream. This just raises your base movement speed at the cost of removing tack sprint. Removing tack sprint could be seen as a negative, but if you're not able to tack sprint, then your gun is going to be up and readily available a lot easier and a lot faster than if you were tack sprinting around the map. And raising your base movement speed basically counteracts the whole tack sprint thing. It's not quite as fast, but it's still fairly quick itself. And moving into our perk greed perk, we're going to run with Bankroll. Now there's a few options for this. You could probably have Bankroll, Scavenger, Dexterity. Maybe you could have Ghost as well, so Ghost and Ninja, but then you would lose your Enforcer perk specialty, which I definitely wouldn't recommend. But Bankroll basically just gives you an extra 150 score towards your score streaks every time you spawn in. So if you're running UAV, counter UAV, and then say a harp, you're just going to be able to get to those higher streaks a lot easier, and getting that initial UAV is so key to getting your streaks. Now that we've had a look at the perks, we're going to jump straight into the class setup, and as you can see, I've got perk greed on, so I can only have 5 attachments, and we are going to be running with an optic today. I've seen very mixed opinions about the FFAR with the optics and its iron sights. The iron sights are relatively clean, but for me, this is just personal preference. I just think having an optic on an assault rifle is a lot more beneficial than having the iron sights. It just allows you to take those longer range gun battles, and the sight itself is just a lot cleaner. There are a few options for the optic, and I'm just going with the Kepler Microflex. I think it's the cleanest one. You could go with the Merlin Mini, the Volsky Reflex if I've said that correctly, or the Merlin Reflex. They all do pretty much the exact same job, but the Kepler is just a lot cleaner in my opinion. Now if you weren't to have an optic, if you guys are completely comfortable with the iron sights, I'd probably remove that and maybe add the vertical foregrip for a little bit of extra recoil if you guys feel like you need it, or if you're completely fine with the recoil, go ahead and add rear grip and add the ergonomic grip. It'll give you a lot higher ADS speed, both in general and while you're jumping, as well as increasing that dive and slide to fire speeds. But we're not going to go with that, so we're going to put us optic back on for now. Moving into the muzzle, I'm going with the suppressor. Now there are a few options for this as well. So the suppressor just keeps you off the minimap. It goes hand in hand with ninja. It allows you to be a hell of a lot more stealthy. And one of the other options would be maybe the monolithic suppressor. As you can see, the monolithic core provides superior sound suppression and increased range. Moderate weight increase affects agility. So what this means is your bullet velocity is increased, your damage range is increased, but you're going to feel a little bit more clunky running around the map. You're going to feel like a little bit of a slug. That's why I'm not going to pick this. Like I said before, I like to be a little bit nippier running around the map. And if you guys really are struggling with the recoil, because it has got a little bit of recoil, I would chuck on the ported compensator just to decrease that first shock recoil and increase your vertical recoil control. But we're going to run with the suppressor today, just to keep us off the minimap. Moving into the next attachment, we're going to have a barrel. We're going to go with the reinforced barrel. Pretty self-explanatory, kind of like the monolithic. So because we've not got the monolithic, we need that extra damage range and bullet velocity. So we're going to get it here, and we're going to have no cons. So it's just a win-win really. Next, we're going to have a look at the magazine, and we're running with the extended mag. Now, again, you could run with the extended mag too because of how fast the fire rate is for the FFAR, but it's going to reduce your ADS speed and it's going to make you feel a little bit more clunkier. Like it says there, significantly improves ammo capacity whilst increasing the time it takes to reload, aim down sights and sprint to fire. So you're just going to feel a little bit more sluggish, and definitely do not run this with the monolithic suppressor unless you're one of those slower playing guys and you're wanting to take those longer range gun battles. So if we just go ahead and use the extended mag, it just gives us extra ammo capacity, allows you to stay on streaks and piece together a lot more kills. Now moving into the final attachment, and we're going to have the Recoil Springs. Now I feel like this is a little bit better than the vertical foregrip just because it offers vertical recoil control. This only offers horizontal recoil control, so the recoil springs are definitely a lot better in my opinion. The FFAR has quite a bit of vertical recoil, and as you can see in the description there, it absorbs more shock and lessens the effect of felt recoil when firing. So definitely need to chuck that on. So that's going to do it for the actual class setup itself. I've given you guys a rundown of the perks, the attachments, a few alternative attachments, and obviously guys, this is not set in stone. You guys can fine tune this to however you guys like to play and make the gun fit to your playstyle. With all that said, before we jump into some gameplay, I'd just like to remind you that the class setup will be down in the description below and in the pinned comments. If you guys made it this far, be sure to comment down below the secret phrase for today's video, which will be stone piglets, and anyone who comments that down below I'll be sure to interact with. If you guys have any alterations or different preferences, if you guys have run this class and made some modifications, be sure to comment them down below. I always love to hear your class setup suggestions. With all that said, let's jump into some gameplay for the FFAR. Jumping into our first game, and we're going to be running with the firing range 24/7. You can probably hear my dog in the background. Hopefully she doesn't continue to bark for the entirety of the video, but we'll see how this goes.
Secure.
Nice little nade, let them capture the flag, then they'll spawn you. That guy's an absolute bot. Just back up. Come on, Jesus, I'm a bot. Nice, got the heart.
All objectives locked down. Hold the enemy back. We're winning. Keep it that way. We're losing.
Oh no, leave me alone.
Losing Bravo. They're taking all zones. They're taking C. Charlie.
There's one. Get this guy off A. Absolutely just melted in. If you can hit your shots with the FFR, it literally just absolutely destroys. The guy is absolutely clueless. Nice little double. Keep him. Nice one. Of course, he's still up there. We need to make a play for B.
Taking Bravo underway.
Somehow still alive. Knew he was going to come challenge.
Taking C. Losing.
There's one. Guy closest to this guy. Not sure what that guy was doing. We need to leave A so that they spawn here.
Losing Bravo. Field up. Give them enough.
Kind of choked there a little bit. Jumping into our second game. Not sure if this will even make it into the video, but depends how well we get on with it. Not sure what this guy's doing. Just walk straight into a nade. Unlucky buddy. Oh my god.
Hardpoint is secure. Lead up. Hardpoint identified. Hostile assaulting through. This shit ain't working. We've lost the advantage. Hardpoint locked down.
Absolutely finessed that sniper.
Hardpoint located.
He's going to spawn over here, I think. Yep. Nice little double. Read that perfectly.
We got the lead. Now hold it. Hardpoint active.
Unfortunate timing there. Probably still going to be another one coming this
Attached to the
back
hardpoint.
alley.
Damn it, we've lost the lead.
Jeez, almost tripped. Get rid of this now. And they're still spawning there.
I've captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint located. Hardpoint locked down.
Shot was a bit windy there.
Hardpoint active.
Just got an absolute dirty spawn.
Hardpoint locked down.
Cleared out the hill as well.
Hardpoint located. Hardpoint active.
Try and clear out the back now.
The red. It's now
Try and
or
get this
never.
heart.
Get a care package on my location. SATCOM to Z requesting CUAV. Hardpoint active. Hostiles at the hardpoint.
UAV fuel check 50%.
Strike on my grid. Hardpoint is secure.
Right guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay, the class setup, and again another reminder, leave a like if you found it useful. And with all that said guys, I'll see you all in the next one.